Did you know that a staggering 73% of Americans wouldn't last 3 days in a disaster? That's right, most people are woefully unprepared for even the smallest emergency. While everyone's out there panic buying overpriced survival kits and fancy gear online, the real life-saving items are sitting right under your nose. They're in your local Walmart, Target, or grocery store, and you probably walk past them every single day without a second thought. Here's the kicker: these aren't your typical survival items. Forget the flashy gadgets and overpriced nonsense. These are everyday products that survival experts have been quietly relying on for decades. And yet most people are completely clueless about their potential. In this video, I'm going to reveal 8 ordinary items hiding in plain sight that could literally mean the difference between life and death when disaster strikes. These aren't just nice-to-haves. These are must-haves. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around, because number 6 is going to blow your mind. So, if you're serious about being ready when the unthinkable happens, pay attention. Let's dive in. Item 1, baby wipes. All right, I know what you're thinking. Baby wipes? Really? But trust me, this isn't some gimmick. Those $3.00 packs of baby wipes sitting in aisle 7 at Walmart, they could literally save your life in a survival situation. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Let me break it down for you. When disaster strikes, like really strikes, water becomes a luxury. Think contaminated water supplies, pipes running dry, or just no access to clean water for days, maybe even weeks. Now, here's the part most people don't think about. When you can't stay clean, your body starts to betray you. Dirt, sweat, and bacteria build up on your skin, and before you know it, you're dealing with infections. And I'm not talking about a little rash or some minor irritation. I'm talking about full-blown, life-threatening infections that can take you out when there's no doctor or antibiotics around. This is where baby wipes come in. These little packets of magic are like having a portable shower in your back pocket. They're not just for wiping baby butts. They're a survival essential. And here's the science to back it up. Studies have shown that proper hygiene, yes, even just wiping your hands and body, can prevent bacterial infection. If it works for newborns, the most vulnerable humans on the planet, imagine what it can do for you in a crisis. But here's the part that blew my mind. Baby wipes are actually better for your skin than water and a cloth. Why? Because they're designed to maintain your skin's natural pH levels and protect something called the acid mantle, a barrier your skin has to keep bacteria out. Water alone can strip that away, leaving you more vulnerable to infections. Baby wipes, they keep that barrier intact. It's like they were made for survival situations. And let's not forget the mental side of things. Staying clean isn't just about avoiding infections. It's about staying sane. Imagine being stuck in a shelter for weeks, surrounded by chaos, and you haven't had a proper shower. Those baby wipes, they're not just cleaning you up, they're giving you a sense of normalcy, a little piece of humanity when everything else feels like it's falling apart. Here's the kicker. The baby wipe market hit $5 billion, 0 cents in 2024 because people are finally waking up to how important hygiene is. And yet most survival experts are out here pushing $15, 0 cents tactical wipes that do the exact same thing. Save your money. Grab a $3, 0 cents pack of baby wipes at Walmart, and you'll be set for weeks. It's a no-brainer. Item 2, honey. All right, let's talk about something you've probably walked past 100 times in the grocery store without giving it a second thought. Honey. Yeah, that little jar sitting on the shelf that most people grab to sweeten their tea or drizzle on toast. But here's the thing. Honey isn't just food. It's a survival powerhouse. And honestly, it's kind of insane how underrated it is. Let me break it down for you. First off, honey is basically immortal. I'm not kidding. Archaeologists found jars of honey in King Tut's tomb. 3,000 years old, and it was still perfectly edible. Think about that for a second. While most of the food in your pantry has an expiration date, honey just doesn't. Your great-great-great-great-grandkids could crack open a jar you buy today and still use it. That's how durable this stuff is. And it's not magic, it's science. Honey has less than 18% water content, which makes it impossible for bacteria to survive. It's like a death trap for germs. They can't grow, they can't thrive, they just die. But wait, it gets even crazier. Bees, those tiny little geniuses, add an enzyme called glucose oxidase to honey. When honey comes into contact with water, like when you use it on a wound, it produces hydrogen peroxide. Yeah, you heard that right. Honey literally makes its own disinfectant. So in a survival situation, honey isn't just a sweet treat. It's a natural antibiotic, wound cleaner, and infection fighter all rolled into one. And here's where it gets really wild. Scientists have been studying honey's effects on antibiotic-resistant bacteria. You know, the superbugs that modern medicine is struggling to fight. A study from Cardiff Metropolitan University found that honey didn't just kill these bacteria, it obliterated their biofilms. These biofilms are like fortresses that protect bacteria from antibiotics, but honey, it tore through them like they were nothing. Hospitals are even starting to use medical-grade honey again because it's outperforming some of the most expensive treatments out there. Let me give you an example. During the COVID pandemic, when supplies were running low, doctors turned to honey for wound care. And guess what? It worked better than the so-called gold standard treatments. In one clinical trial, honey healed 87% of burn wounds in just 15 days. The fancy silver sulfadiazine cream? Only 10% healed in the same time. That's not just impressive, it's game-changing. Now think about this in a disaster scenario. You're dealing with cuts, burns, or infections, and there's no doctor or pharmacy in sight. A $5 0-cent jar of honey from your local grocery store could literally save your life. It doesn't expire, it doesn't need refrigeration, and bacteria can't develop resistance to it. It's like having a first aid kit in a jar. So the next time you're in the grocery aisle, don't just walk past the honey. Grab a jar. It's not just food, it's survival gold. Item 3. Duct tape. All right, let's talk about the most underrated, overpowered survival tool sitting in the hardware aisle. Duct tape. You've probably walked past it a million times, thinking it's just for patching up air ducts or fixing random stuff around the house. But let me tell you something. Duct tape is a survival game changer, and the stories behind it are absolutely insane. Picture this. A guy is out hiking with his buddies in the middle of nowhere. We're talking miles from civilization. He slips, falls, and completely shatters his wrist. And I don't mean a little sprain. I'm talking bones sticking out, full-on nightmare scenario. His friends are panicking because they're hours away from any kind of help. But one of them? He's got a small roll of duct tape in his pack. They grab some sticks, wrap the guy's arm with duct tape, and create a splint so solid that when they finally get to the hospital, the doctors are blown away. The guy told me himself, duct tape didn't just save his arm, it might have saved his life. And that's just the beginning. A 2025 study revealed that duct tape can even work as an emergency tourniquet. Now, is it as good as a proper medical-grade tourniquet? No. But when you're bleeding out and it's all you've got, it can absolutely save your life. Here's the deal. Military research shows that applying a tourniquet before shock sets in gives you a 90% chance of survival. 90%. That's the difference between making it out alive and becoming a statistic. And duct tape? It's strong enough to get the job done in a pinch. But wait, it gets even crazier. Did you know duct tape can remove warts? Yeah, you heard me right. A study found that duct tape had an 85% success rate for removing warts, compared to just 60% with professional freezing treatments. Who needs a dermatologist when you've got a $5 0-cent roll of tape? And the medical uses don't stop there. You can use duct tape to close wounds when you don't have proper bandages. Cut it into small strips to make butterfly sutures. Survival experts have even used it for compression on broken ribs, sprained ankles, and as makeshift crutches. It's like the Swiss Army knife of adhesives. And here's the part that blows my mind. NASA uses duct tape. Astronauts have literally used it to fix critical equipment in space. If it's good enough to save lives in the vacuum of space, it's more than good enough for your survival kit. And the best part? It costs $5. $5 for something that could save your life in dozens of ways. So, the next time you're in the hardware aisle, don't just walk past the duct tape. Grab a roll or two, because when disaster strikes, this stuff isn't just handy, it's essential. Item 4. Flashlights and batteries. All right, let's get real for a second. Imagine you're sitting at home, maybe scrolling on your phone or watching TV, and then boom, everything goes black. Not just your house, not just your street, the entire grid. That's exactly what happened to 60 million people across Spain and Portugal on April 28, 2025. In just 5 seconds, 15 gigawatts of power vanished, gone. To put that into perspective, that's 60% of the entire power demand for both countries, wiped out in an instant. No warning, no explanation, just darkness. Now, here's the kicker. 1 in 4 American households experienced a power outage last year. 1 in 4. If you haven't had your power go out yet, Don't get too comfortable. It's only a matter of time. And these aren't just quick flickers either. About 70% of those outages lasted 6 hours or more. 6 hours. That's your entire evening gone. And if you're thinking, oh, I'll just use my phone's flashlight, let me stop you right there. Your phone flashlight will drain your battery in about 2 hours. Then what? You're sitting in pitch black darkness, completely unprepared. Here's the thing about flashlights that most people don't realize. Not all of them are created equal. Those cheap plastic ones you grab at the checkout line? Useless. They barely light up your hand, let alone a room. And those overpriced tactical flashlights? Overkill for most situations. What you actually need are LED flashlights. Why? Because modern LED flashlights can run for up to 11 days on a single battery charge. 11 days. Compare that to the old school flashlights that died after 2 hours, and it's not even a contest. But here's where most people screw up. They buy one flashlight. Rookie mistake. What happens when you drop it? Or it breaks? Or your kid decides it's their new favorite toy and loses it? You're screwed. Smart people buy multiple LED flashlights. Keep one in every room. One in your car, one in your bag. Because when the lights go out, and trust me, they will, you don't want to be stumbling around in the dark trying to find your emergency kit. You want light immediately. And batteries? Oh man, don't even get me started. You need way more than you think. Cold weather drains batteries faster. Stress makes you use your flashlight more. And here's something most people don't know. Batteries lose charge just sitting there, even if you're not using them. That's why you need to stock up. And while you're at it, get yourself a hand crank flashlight as a backup. No batteries, no charging. Just you, cranking a handle, and boom, light. Some of the newer models even charge your phone and pick up emergency radio broadcasts. It's a no-brainer. Let me tell you why this matters. When the power went out in Spain and Portugal, chaos followed. Police had to use arm signals to direct traffic because all the traffic lights were dead. Firefighters in Madrid had to rescue 174 people trapped in elevators in a single day. And here's the part that really hits hard. 6% of households include someone who relies on electric medical equipment. Imagine your kid needs a nebulizer for asthma, or your grandpa's on oxygen, and the power's out. That flashlight isn't just about convenience anymore, it's about survival. When the lights go out, everything changes. Your stress levels spike. You can't find anything. You can't do anything. And if you're not prepared, you're just sitting there, helpless, waiting for the power to come back. But with the right flashlights, you're in control. You can see, you can move, you can help your family, you can signal for help if you need to. That's the difference between being a victim and being prepared. So, next time you're at the store, don't just walk past the flashlights and batteries. Stock up. Because when everything goes dark, light becomes everything. Item 5. Aluminum foil. All right, let's talk about the most underestimated dirt-cheap survival tool sitting in your kitchen drawer right now. Aluminum foil. Yeah, that shiny roll you use to wrap up leftovers you swear you'll eat, but never do. Turns out your great-grandmother wasn't just hoarding this stuff during the Great Depression for no reason. She knew something we've completely forgotten in our modern just-buy-it-online world. That $2.00 roll of foil from Walmart? It's not just for pizza slices. It's a survival powerhouse. Let me explain. First off, let's talk about signaling for help. Imagine you're lost in the woods. Maybe you took a wrong turn on a hike, or your car broke down in the middle of nowhere. Search and rescue teams are out there looking for you, but you're hidden under tree cover. What do? Grab that foil, wrap it around a stick or a rock, and boom, you've got a makeshift signal mirror. And here's the crazy part. Pilots have reported seeing foil signals from over 10 miles away. 10 miles. That's not just impressive, it's life-saving. Commercial aircraft flying at 30,000 feet have spotted foil signals from the ground. Think about that. A piece of kitchen foil can literally cut through the sky and get you noticed. But wait, it gets better. You know how staying warm is one of the biggest challenges in a survival situation? Here's where foil becomes a game changer. Aluminum foil reflects 90% of your body heat back to you. 90%. That's better than most of those overpriced emergency blankets. If you're stuck outside in the cold, just wrap yourself up like a human burrito. Sure, you'll look ridiculous, but you'll stay alive. And this isn't just some hack. Emergency room doctors actually use this technique to prevent hypothermia in trauma patients. It works, period. Now, Let's talk about water. Clean water is everything in a survival situation, and aluminum foil can help you purify it. Line a bowl with foil, pour in questionable water, and stick it in direct sunlight. The foil concentrates the heat, creating a solar disinfection chamber that kills bacteria and viruses. It's like a DIY water purifier, and it could save your life when clean water is nowhere to be found. And if you think that's all, think again. Aluminum foil can boost your communication game. Twist it into a makeshift antenna, and you can amplify radio signals. Ham radio operators have been using this trick for decades. Need to catch dinner? Cut the foil into small strips to make fishing lures. The shiny, fluttering motion drives fish wild. And if you're cooking over a fire, foil is your best friend. Need a plate? Fold it. Need tongs? Shape it. Need a funnel? Easy. You can even sharpen dull scissors by cutting through layers of foil. The friction hones the blades. But here's where it gets really wild. Aluminum foil can even help with vehicle emergencies. Got a blown fuse? Use foil as a temporary fix. Loose electrical connection? Foil's got you covered. NASA astronauts have literally used aluminum foil and duct tape to repair critical equipment in space. If it's good enough for rocket scientists floating in the void, it's more than good enough for your survival kit. So the next time you're at the store, grab an extra roll of aluminum foil. It's not just for leftovers, it's a survival tool that could save your life in ways you never imagined. Don't underestimate it. Item 6. Bleach. Alright, this one is going to blow your mind. And honestly, it's terrifying how many people have no idea about this. You know that plain old bottle of bleach sitting in the cleaning aisle? The one you probably use to scrub your bathroom or whiten your laundry? Well, that same bottle could literally save your life in a disaster. I'm not exaggerating. This isn't just a cleaning product, it's a survival essential, and most people are completely clueless about its potential. Let me take you back to Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Thousands of people got seriously sick from drinking contaminated water. Some even died. But here's the thing, there were families who stayed completely healthy through the chaos. Their secret? They knew how to use household bleach to purify water. That's right, bleach. The same stuff you've got under your sink right now. And I'm about to tell you exactly how to do it, so pay attention because getting this wrong could be dangerous. Here's the formula. 8 drops of unscented liquid bleach per gallon of water. That's it. Stir it up, let it sit for 30 minutes, and boom, you've got safe drinking water. It kills bacteria, viruses, and parasites. This isn't some random internet hack either. This is official guidance from the CDC and the World Health Organization. They've been recommending this method for decades, and it's been used worldwide for over a century, but somehow most Americans have never even heard of it. Now let me break it down further because this is where people mess up. First, it has to be regular unscented liquid bleach. None of that fancy stuff with fragrances or additives. Check the label. It should say it contains between 5% and 9% sodium hypochlorite, because that's the active ingredient that makes this work. And for the love of everything, don't go overboard. Too much bleach can poison you. Too little won't kill the nasty stuff in the water. Stick to 8 drops per gallon for clear water. If the water is cloudy or dirty, double it to 16 drops per gallon. Stir it well and let it sit for 30 minutes. If it still smells like bleach after that, it's safe to drink. If it doesn't, add a few more drops and wait another 15 minutes. Here's the crazy part. 1 small bottle of bleach, the kind you can grab for $1, 0 cents, 50 at Walmart, can purify hundreds of gallons of water. That's enough to keep a family of 4 alive for months. Think about that. A single bottle of bleach could mean the difference between life and death when the water treatment plants fail. And trust me, they do fail. Whether it's a natural disaster, a power outage, or some other crisis, clean water is always one of the first things to go. And let's not forget how versatile bleach is. It's not just for purifying water. You can use it to disinfect surfaces, clean wounds in a pinch, and even sanitize tools or utensils. It's like having a multi-tool in liquid form. But again, the key is knowing how to use it safely. This isn't something you want to wing. Get it wrong, and you're either drinking contaminated water or poisoning yourself. Neither is a good option. So the next time you're at the store, grab a bottle of plain, unscented bleach and stick it in your emergency kit. It's cheap. It's effective, and it could save your family's lives when everything else falls apart. Don't wait until it's too late to learn this. Be prepared. Item 7. Trash bags. All right, let's talk about something you've probably never thought twice about. Trash bags. Yeah, those boring plastic bags you toss in your cart without a second thought. They cost, what, $8 for a whole box? But here's the thing, those simple, unassuming bags could literally save your life in a survival situation. And I'm not exaggerating. Let me tell you a story that's going to completely change the way you see them. Last year, in Texas, a hiker got caught in a sudden ice storm. Temperatures plummeted to 15 degrees, and he was stuck overnight with zero gear. No jacket, no sleeping bag, nothing. You know what saved him? 2 contractor trash bags he had in his truck. He cut a hole in one, wore it like a poncho, and climbed inside the second one like a makeshift sleeping bag. That's it. Those 2 trash bags kept him alive for 12 hours in freezing rain. Think about that. A couple of plastic bags from Home Depot saved this guy's life when the odds were stacked against him. But wait, it gets even crazier. Trash bags can actually help you make water. Yeah, you heard me right. There's this survival technique called transpiration collection, and it's pure genius. Here's how it works. You take a clear trash bag, tie it over a leafy tree branch, and let nature do its thing. Trees release moisture into the air, and the bag traps it, condensing it into clean, drinkable water. According to the USGS, trees release about 10% of all the moisture in the atmosphere. That means every tree is basically a natural water factory. One healthy branch can produce up to a liter of water in 24 hours. That's enough to keep you alive for an entire day, all from a tree and a plastic bag. It's like magic, but it's science. And trash bags aren't just for water or staying warm. They're ridiculously versatile. During Hurricane Sandy in 2012, families were using black trash bags as solar showers. They'd fill the bags with water, leave them in the sun for a few hours, poke some holes, and boom, instant warm shower. No electricity, no fancy equipment, just a trash bag and some sunlight. People were sharing this hack all over social media, showing how they stayed clean when everything else failed. But here's the part that really hits hard. During the 2021 Texas freeze, when pipes burst and homes were left without heat, families turned to trash bags for emergency insulation. They taped them over windows to block out the cold, wore them under their clothes as windbreakers, and even stuffed them with newspaper to create makeshift sleeping bags. Parents used this simple trick to keep their kids warm when temperatures inside their homes dropped to dangerous levels. It's heartbreaking to think about, but those trash bags made the difference between life and death for some families. And let's not forget the heavy-duty contractor bags, the thick 3mm ones. These things are like a survival kit in a box. You can use them as emergency ponchos, ground covers, or even to build a makeshift shelter. Need to carry supplies? Trash bag. Need to waterproof your gear? Trash bag. Need to line a hole for an emergency latrine? You guessed it, trash bag. For less than $10, 0 cents, you've got a tool that can do it all. So, the next time you're at the store, don't just grab trash bags for your kitchen. Stock up on the heavy-duty ones for your emergency kit. They're cheap, they're versatile, and they could save your life in ways you never imagined. Don't underestimate the power of a simple plastic bag. Item 8. Multivitamins. All right, let's talk about something most people completely overlook. Multivitamins. You know, those little bottles sitting in the pharmacy aisle that you probably walk past thinking, I eat fine, I don't need those. Well, let me tell you something that's going to completely change how you think about those tiny pills. Because when disaster strikes, multivitamins aren't just a nice to have, they're a survival essential. And the science behind it, honestly, it's terrifying. Here's the deal. When your body doesn't get the vitamins and minerals it needs, your immune system doesn't just get a little weaker, it starts to collapse. I'm talking about a 50% reduction in your body's ability to fight off infections. That's not just me saying it, it's backed by research. During Hurricane Katrina, one of the biggest factors that separated survivors from those who didn't make it wasn't just food or water, it was nutrition. And here's the kicker. A study during the COVID-19 pandemic found that nearly half of hospitalized patients had malnutrition. Those with nutritional deficiencies, they stayed in the hospital longer and had worse outcomes. That's how critical this is. Now let's put this into a survival scenario. Imagine you're 3 days into a disaster. The power's out, the stores are empty, and you're living off canned soup and crackers because that's all you could grab. You get a small cut on your hand. No big deal, right? Wrong. Without proper nutrition, your immune system is running on fumes. That tiny cut, it gets infected. And because your body doesn't have the vitamins and minerals it needs to heal, what should have been a minor scratch turns into a life-threatening situation. This isn't just hypothetical. It's exactly what happens in disaster zones and refugee camps all over the world. And here's the part that really blew my mind. Brand new research from 2025 shows that while multivitamins might not make a huge difference for healthy people in normal times, they become absolutely critical when your body is under stress and your diet is limited. When you're eating the same processed, low-nutrient foods day after day, your body starts running out of the essentials. Vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, all the stuff that keeps your immune system functioning. And when that happens, you're not just tired or sluggish. You're vulnerable. You start getting sick from things that wouldn't normally affect you. Here's a hard truth. Kids with malnutrition are far more likely to die from infectious diseases, not because they don't have enough calories, but because their immune systems can't fight off even minor infections. And it's not just kids. In disaster zones, diseases like scurvy and pellagra, things we thought were wiped out, start popping up again. Why? Because people aren't getting basic vitamins. This isn't some far-off problem. This is what happens when modern people lose access to proper nutrition. But here's the good news. It's preventable. A simple bottle of multivitamins can make all the difference. When your body has enough vitamins A, C, D, E, and minerals like zinc and iron, your immune system stays strong even when you're under extreme stress. And the best part? It's cheap. A bottle of multivitamins costs about $10, 0 cents, and lasts 3 months. That's less than what most people spend on coffee in a week. And those little pills? They could literally be the difference between your body fighting off a dangerous infection or succumbing to it. So the next time you're at the store, don't just walk past the vitamin aisle. Grab a bottle, stick it in your emergency kit. Because when disaster strikes and you're living on canned food and crackers, your body is going to thank you for thinking ahead. Multivitamins aren't just a supplement, they're a survival tool. Don't underestimate them. Conclusion. Be ready before it's too late. All right, so there you have it. 8 survival items hiding in plain sight at every grocery store, Walmart, or Target that could literally save your life when disaster strikes. And the best part? None of these are expensive, flashy, or hard to find. They're simple, everyday products that most people overlook, but survival experts swear by. From baby wipes to multivitamins, these items aren't just convenient, they're essential. Here's the thing. Disasters don't come with a warning. Whether it's a hurricane, blackout, ice storm, or something completely unexpected, being prepared isn't just smart, it's necessary. And you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on fancy survival gear to do it. The tools to protect yourself and your family are already sitting on the shelves of your local store. So don't wait until it's too late. Start building your emergency kit today. Grab that $3 0 cents pack of baby wipes, that $10 0 cents roll of duct tape, or that $1 0 cents 50 bottle of bleach. Because when the unthinkable happens, it's not about having the most expensive gear. It's about having the right tools and the knowledge to use them. Remember, survival isn't about luck. It's about preparation. And now, you've got the inside scoop on 8 life-saving items that could make all the difference. Stay safe, stay prepared, and don't forget. Sometimes, the simplest things are the most powerful.